Morning, honey.
Morning, Mr. Hart. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Stand up and show everybody your digging gear. So this is what a professional, experienced archaeologist wears on a dig. Let's check out the shoes.
Oh, yes.
Heavy-duty boots, full of Iron Age mud already, I think.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Is everybody else okay? Girls, it's going on YouTube, so smile.
So, before we go out on site, to give you some sort of background, because obviously, you know, it's been highly destroyed, this site. Start at the beginning. So, we're standing at the moment is our entrance into our Middle Iron Age banjo enclosure, which spreads out behind you. And these are the two entrance ditches coming in. One on that side and one on the other. And this is clearly a Roman period structure. Top of an Iron Age ditch. Not a good idea. But when we uncovered it, we found two storage pits. So we found these, dark circles within the chalk. It's very easy, the archaeology on this site, because it's white chalk and dark features. And normally these are... Auger it, and I'm sure I hit solid chalk about another half metre below where Emily's digging.
I'm responsible for the finds collection and curation. I'm responsible for the health and safety and innumerable other things around site, but I'm not going to bore you with that. Lyme's disease, Weil's disease, make sure you wash your hands after you finish digging. There is a hand washing bowl in there, and all our illustrious toileting facilities have a little pump action hand wash in them. It is clean water that comes out of it. I know they smell, that's part and parcel of a warm summer, unfortunately. Right, the very briefest of tool talks. We'll start with your trowel. It's sharp. Don't put it in any pockets. Don't put it in a back pocket. Don't throw it, don't go like that in the ground with it, don't prod anybody next to you. Be aware that things flick up from it. So if you're travelling across the chalk, you can get some pieces flicking up at you. There are two sides. There's the point which we never ever use. There's this little edge on the corner that's used like a little plough effectively for going through the surface. You then use this edge at a reduced angle to get a flat surface. Do not use it literally flat to the ground, because all you'll do is get a polished surface. Trowel. Spade. Flat end. Difference to a shovel, which has got a curved end to it. You can use a spade to do a shovel's job, but you can't use a shovel to do a spade's job. Please put it head down. Don't leave them the other way around, otherwise you'll get that age-old comedy factor of trade on the end and This is a mattock. It's got an axe end, which we never ever use, and a flat end that we do use. It's generally acceptable to keep this again at a very low angle, the same as your trowel. Stand to one side and you use the weight of the head of the mattock to do the work. Do not ever lift it above waist height. Okay? If you get this business going on, the person behind you is wearing a very silly, very red hat. Those, don't fill them all the way up. We're not after any strain injuries. The same with buckets. Fill them to a level that you're comfortable with. Please don't fill them all the way up and then end up going, ugh.
This is for keeping things in, not keeping things out. So whether they were topped with hedges, palisades, we don't know. But basically they seem to be a part of the stock control system. So
you've got large bits of cow bone. You've got small Roman storage vessels and or cooking vessels. That's a little bowl, that's a little jar or pot. Bone comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes. That's a bit of New Forest ware. There are different fabric and pottery types which we're not expecting you to know anything about by the end of this day, but everything that you trowel other than the soil in these terraces has a high potential of being a find and of archaeological importance rather than just a bit of natural stain.
Having fun so far? What was your favourite bit so far?
I think the Roman.
Oh yeah, when he was jumping around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Roman house and Damien's talk.
Yeah.
It's great.
Do you like the health and safety talk best? Yeah?
I just love health and safety. It's fab.
The trays behind you, fresh off site. Some of them are sorted on site, some of them are sorted back here. We get rid of the material that we don't keep. We always say if you're unsure, put it in the tray. 9 times out of 10, even after 4 weeks, the students are still unsure, so we still get mounds of material. Sometimes half of which, 3/4 of which, all of which we don't keep. Goes back in the field. Things like amphora, big storage vessels, wine, garum, olive oil, some of them sort of yay high, some of them small squat things. These are off the bigger vessels. Bits of Samian, some of it has got drilled holes in. These drill holes were used for repair purposes. When you dropped your Samian ware, because the majority of it was coming from southern France and Italy, it was important stuff. It wasn't to a penny. You couldn't just get a chariot to go down to Poole Harbour and pick up a black Burnsware pot from the kilns down there. It was coming from thousands of miles away. We've got a little bust here of, oh, I can't remember, Bacchus. Strigil for scraping oils off arms after bathing. Bill hook, socketed. You can see the remains of the wood in there. The wood has taken, or sorry, the iron oxide, the rust has taken the form of the wood. You can still see the grain and everything in there. It's part of a Roman key. We don't know what they were for. We think they're the end cleats for Roman sandals, so much like your eyelets perform now. One would have sat in the leather, one would have sat outside the leather. We've got that, which we think is a set of little weighing scales, just missing the bells on the bottom. That is an iron point, socketed point. Your guess is as good as anybody else. We've got everything from a cattle prod to a small little javelin or small spear. Another one of those, only straight. Can't think of a comparison. We've got a glass-headed copper alloy pin. There's a glass bead. There's a bit of vessel glass. I love a little shale core or shale bead. Nice coloured glass. Very unusual to get yellow or shades of yellow in it. That's a little glass leaf, more than likely produced at Murano, which is a little Venetian island. It's actually got green coloration in between the actual veins in the leaf, more than likely part of a drop earring. But it's 2,000 years old. It's a miracle that we've found things like that. Any of this material is non-specific. There's a little lead weight, there's little gaming counters. I've got a little machine in next door. I'm going to play with those later on, called an X-ray fluorescence machine, which is going to give us a chemical makeup of some of these objects because we're unsure of what they are. These 2 bits of brooch were found a week and a bit apart in 2 different parts of the same trench. There's corrosion product on either end, but given that that is massive and that's massive, and we've never found things this big before, beg your pardon, that way round, that should fit there. Horse jaw, hole in the horse jaw, for hanging on a butcher's hook for butchering. It wasn't just McDonald's using horses.
Have you found anything yet?
A load of dead people.
Otherwise you just end up scraping. similarly with that, you can go down into it a bit. And you find it's a lot easier once you get below the top surface, which is quite dry. It is actually still quite damp in there.
You found anything, guys? Might have done.
Well, we thought it was a shell, but we're not sure.
A shell.
Yeah, like I don't know what the guy was saying about earlier.
Okay. Anything, Sophie?
Lots of flint.
Flint at this end, yeah? We're getting loads of pottery down the other end.
I did say, but I can't remember. We're going to the nest, I think.
Samian ware.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. Right. Thank you very much. Found anything yet, Ruby?
No, just like flint or something.
Flint or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
He said if you tap something and it makes like a dinging noise, apparently it's good.
It's flint. Okay, keep going. Why isn't this... Yes,
I
there we go.
did debate digging my trowel, burying my trowel and digging it back up again. And finding that.
So I'm going to film now, Beck. Beck, could you tell the story of the chalk and the 2,000-year-old chalk?
Well, we've decided that what the Romans the brown stuff ends here and the chalk starts where Rachel and Katie are digging. And so we have deciphered that they are the first people in 60 million years to touch on this stuff.
Yeah.
We decided the Romans got to here and they were like, do you know what? Some idiot in 2,000 years is going to dig that up, so we'll just leave that to them.
And we're the idiots.
And we're the idiots.
So we've really enjoyed doing it.
We really
Had so much fun being.
Yeah, we've proved the
love the
Romans
challenge.
wrong. Yeah, no, Romans were clever people. They knew what was coming.
Just bash that chalk again, so we... Yeah, that is great, isn't it?
It's different to those ones. They're more of a dull noise. There's that one. It's really good. That one's better.